Today I fucked up by uncovering a dark family secret. Alright folks, this is a tale about Heineken beer. This beer has always been a staple in my family. Some of my earliest memories of my father are him drinking from that iconic green glass with my uncles. My grandfather was a stereotypical strong patriarch of the family. He never drank, but he would spare no expense buying rack after rack of Heineken to keep everyone satisfied at every family event. He passed many years ago, but the tradition has been faithfully kept ever since, both as an homage to him and to all the wonderful memories we've made with Heineken in hand. My very first beer was a Heineken. I hated it. I've given it plenty of chances since, but every one I've ever had tastes stale and watery. I could never understand why my whole family happened to love them. Probably a matter of sophistication. I never told my father because it would have broken his heart. In fact, like a dutiful son, I would always drink one or two to join in with all the other men and the enjoyment of their beloved beer. A few days ago, my father was hosting an event and entrusted me to provide the drinks. I figured, hell, people have been downing the same old beer at these things for 40 years, let me get some other brews in the mix. I bought plenty of a few different brands that I love: Sam Adams, Dos Equis, Guinness, Bud Lime, and only one single 6-pack of Heineken. I snuck everything into the cooler so no one would figure the small proportion of Heineken in the mix unless they counted, and sat all day marveling at my own mischief. The day turns to night, and at the end of the party I look in the beer cooler to my satisfaction. Every single beer is gone. Except, wait a minute, the 6 Heinekens. Very strange. I told my dad there were some Heinekens left over. Bear in mind, he didn't know what I had done. He probably figured a bunch of other ones had been consumed. Dad only drinks for special occasions, so he suggested we give them to my uncle, an infamous lover of the beer. But he had already left, so we found his son and went to give it to him to deliver. The smile immediately left his face when we told him the plan. His eyes went straight to the floor, and despite being a grown man of almost 40, I heard fear in his voice when he said it. Guys, I gotta be honest with you. My dad can't stand Heineken. We laughed because we figured it must have been a joke, but he kept staring at the floor. The smiles left our faces. We suggested he take it for himself, but he admitted he also didn't like Heineken. Well, I'm not gonna drink it, my dad said. What? Why not? Yeah, you guessed it, he hates Heineken as well. At this point, I admitted that I shared their opinion, and told them what I had done that day. Slowly, the realization of what was going on dawned on all three of us. We went around frantically to all the people at the party asking for their input. Every single one hates Heineken. Young and old, father and son, blue-collar and white-collar, American and foreign-born. Not a living soul actually likes the beer. They all just bought it because they thought another guy wanted it. People were distraught. We've all spent so much money buying this overpriced beer for decades because everybody just assumed the other guys liked it, and everyone was too polite to say how much they didn't. All those fond childhood memories of my father and my uncles sitting on the porch are now tainted with the knowledge that Heineken objectively sucks. In ceremonial fashion, the final 6 were dumped in the backyard, the last of their kind to be seen in our household. It felt eerily like a funeral. On the bright side, everyone will actually enjoy their drinks at family events from now on. TLDR. I strayed from buying the 40-plus-year traditional family beer brand for an event and accidentally uncovered the fact that everyone always hated it, but no one wanted to be the one to admit it. Not quite as expensive, but when my dad met my mother's parent for the first time it was Christmas and he ate a mince pie out of politeness. So my mother made him mince pies every year for Christmas, bearing in mind that he was the only person in our family who likes them. I was about 11 when he finally told her he hates mince pies and to please stop making them. They'd been married a good 20 years by that stage. The only fuck up here is throwing glass bottles into the woods. The best part of this story is you being yelled at for being a litterbug in the comment section. Not the kind of dark family secret I was expecting, to be honest. Can't believe everybody united against littering. If only people were like that IRL. Let me tell you what your major fuck up is. It's that you threw your unwanted bottles into the wood. Like seriously? In this day and age? You should now better sort yourself out. Today I fucked up by not speaking in my natural pitch for years. I've, 22 female, recently come to the realization that I have been speaking wrong for years. By that I mean I've forced my voice lower than it's intended to. My voice would get tired halfway through the day and I would lose my voice every day. I didn't realize speaking in a lower voice would cause this much strain and damage. I happened to watch a YouTube video on finding your speaking tone and realized that for years I've tried to talk in a lower, more masculine voice. There is probably a reason behind that, like wanting to seem like a stronger person than I am. I think this all started with insecurities and anxiety around people, but now that I've been on antidepressants I've started to unravel all the things that were stem from the anxiety. Now that the anxiety is gone, I can focus on fixing myself so that I can tolerate myself and learn to live again. I hope that this story might help someone else who is struggling. Too long did not read. I was damaging my voice by speaking in a lower tone than my vocal cords are supposed to. Well guys, we found Elizabeth Holmes' account. I'm a guy who spent years speaking in the wrong pitch. Just in the opposite direction. I have a naturally deep growly voice, and so my mother would drag me to the side to chew me out for having a bad attitude anytime I said, well, anything. And #X200B. I learned to speak in a much higher pitch to the point where I couldn't actually use my natural pitch anymore. Surprise. I spent years hating the sound of my voice and speaking as little as possible. It worsened my social anxiety significantly. It's taken a dedicated effort over the past few years on my part to reclaim my voice. I am far happier and noticeably more outgoing because of it, and I'm glad that you found the path that you needed to a happier you. I'm curious, which video did you watch? A bigger "today I fucked up" would probably have been the whole Theranos thing. I notice when I speak in Japanese, my pitch is much higher than when I'm speaking in English. I heard somewhere that this is a common thing that women do, subconsciously or not, to be taken more seriously. Supposedly Hillary Clinton had a voice coach to help her speak lower. Also the pantsuits and short haircut. It's a man's world. Today I fucked up by introducing my two crushes to each other. I am a bisexual man and I've been talking with a straight girl and other bisexual guy. I had been hitting it off really well with both of them and there was some light flirting. It was getting to the point where I was really nervous about really hitting on either of them for fear of losing the other, and I think it may have given off the vibe that I wasn't interested because sometimes I didn't flirt back. A few days ago I was talking to the girl after a class we had together and the guy dropped by to say hello. I introduced them to each other as anybody would with their friends, but I had to go to my Jext class and ended up leaving them both there as they kept talking. Saw them both together today and they thanked me for introducing them because they are now officially dating. Like obviously none of us were ever an item or ever even really serious, but that was tough to hear. I just laughed it off. In retrospect, I don't think either of them had any idea I was interested. At least, that's the generous interpretation. Feels bad, man. TLR, introduced my male and female crush to each other and they are now dating, all thanks to me. Damn. Bro really put the L in LGBT. The consequences of neither shitting nor getting off the pot. Work your way into a threesome, that's never ruined a friendship before. I remember once excitedly running up to a friend of mine to tell him his best friend and I were finally dating. I found out years later that was the exact same moment that friend was walking up to ask me out. Poor guy. Now go out for drinks, have fun and make it happen. Gosh, I remember having a really good relationship with a girl and I introduced what I thought, gay friend to her. They hit it off and seems he wasn't gay, people just told me that. Now they have 2 kids and are married and live happily ever after. I sometimes think if I thought he wasn't gay, they would have never met.